Hi there, my name is Sarah Nadler. I'm a marketing consultant here at Silkin Management Group. And last week I sent out an email talking about marketing math. We deal mostly with practice owners here at Silkin Management Group. We do dentists, we consult for optometrists, veterinarians, and lots of different specialists too. Now the truth of the matter is, the number one thing as a practice owner that I get asked as a marketing consultant is, how do I tell whether it's working? I'm doing a Facebook ad. How do I tell if it's getting good traffic? I'm sending people to my website. How can I tell if I have a good number of people clicking on my ad, clicking on my website, coming in the door? How do I make this thing flow? So I actually put together for you my marketing math workbook. You can actually download this. The link should be somewhere below or somewhere to the left or right, depending on where you're looking at this video. But the truth of the matter is, if you download this, we're going to walk through exactly how you do marketing math. And when I say marketing math, I simply mean how you calculate your return on investment for different types of advertising. So again, part of the problem is not knowing the actual calculations, and part of the problem is not really recognizing what the industry standards are, so you don't really have anything to compare it to. Like, I could tell you, oh, your ad is converting at 2%, but what does that mean? Like, is that good? Is that bad? What you have to have something to compare it to, right? So we're going to talk about that today. So step 1, download the workbook. Step 2, listen here. All right, now first of all, I brought myself a handy dandy piece of paper. There's a couple of different things. Let's say you're running a Facebook ad. There's my picture, Facebook ad, okay? That's on Facebook. And you're trying to send traffic to where? That's the first question. Where do you want people to go from your ad, right? Because we know not everybody who clicks on your ad is going to have the availability to just get directions and come right into your practice, right? So you have to figure out where you're going to send them to. And that's usually the primary thing I notice that amateurs are doing incorrectly. When you're just trying to boost posts on Facebook or run a little ad campaign on social media by yourself without the use of a professional agency, this is the number one thing I see people do wrong, is they send the traffic to their normal website where there is a bunch of different noise and people don't know what to do at that point. They land on your website and they get distracted by your About Us page or the cute photos of dogs if you're a veterinarian, right? And there's no control at that point of what they do next. So there's a system, there's a type of system for running Facebook advertising. It's called a funnel, a sales funnel. The reason why it's called a funnel is because a funnel is shaped like this, right? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to squeeze the person's attention to go into one particular choice. So when we're running Facebook ads, right, we want to send them to a landing page. A landing page is a single purpose website. It's not your typical website for your practice. It could be a page on your website, that's totally fine, but ideally this would be its own separate thing, and the only choice a person can make on here is one choice, yes or no, to whatever it is you talked about in your ad. So let's say your ad is running a special. You've got some kind of discount or a coupon. If you're a veterinarian, this could be, you know, free bath when you board. For a dentist, it might be, you know, discount on teeth whitening, something of that nature, right? So you're going to offer something in your ad, and then we need to take them to a place where they can get the thing you offered. If you just send them to your website, but you were talking about a discount and the website doesn't mention the discount, now they're really confused. And what do we know about sales? A confused mind always says no, right? So first of all, we got to understand the strategy. We're going to send them to something that offers what we promised, right? That's the number one thing. Now, from there, we obviously want them to walk in the door, right? But the truth of the matter is, as I said before, not everybody who has time to click on an ad has time to walk in the door right now. So what do? Well, in order for them to get the thing that we promised, we ask in exchange for an email address. Email. Right? So now we have their email address. The only reason why we want this is not so we can spam them over and over and over again. I mean, come on, raise your hand. Have you been getting spam emails lately? Duh, right? We hate spam. The truth is, all we want this for is so we can remind them gently about the thing that they were already interested in. So they clicked on your ad because they were interested, right? Good. They obviously, if they got here, but they didn't do this, they probably got distracted. The baby cried, the dog had to be walked, maybe they were at work and lunch ended, right? And if we don't have some way to contact them again, we're gonna lose them. So email is a great way to do that. And it doesn't have to be personalized email where we send every single person who clicked on our ad an email every single day. We can use email automation to naturally, gently introduce the person to your practice and remind them of the offer that they wanted. And usually we would send this out for like 5 or 7 days. And if they haven't opted in at that point, they haven't come in, we stop because we're not spammers, right? We're not here to drive people nuts with millions of emails. So that's what we do on this landing page. We offer something that was promised, and we ask in exchange that they give us their email. Now, there's a couple other ways that we can do this. We can also do on Facebook what's called retargeting. So retargeting is very, very, very powerful because the person has clicked on your ad because they were interested. They got to the landing page, but they didn't walk in the door. Let's say you don't have their email or you use their email and they're not answering. We can retarget the same people. We can tell Facebook, I want you to show this new ad to all the people who clicked on my earlier ad. Now let's just say, again, let's take this back to real life, right? This ad, you're a dentist and this ad is offering teeth whitening discount, right? This ad, which is retargeting, we're gonna say, hey, you, person in your feed, pay attention to me. I noticed that you wanted some whitening for your teeth. Are you still interested in that? If so, click here. And it brings them back here again, right? So now, because raise your hand if you've ever clicked on something and then gotten distracted, come back, and the page had refreshed and you couldn't find that ad again. Oh, the most annoying thing in the world. I was actually interested. No, come back. I wanted that, right? Really, really, really annoying when that happens. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because the numbers I'm going to teach you in marketing math only have significance if you understand, first of all, the right way to do social media advertising. Doing it the other way around, you're going to have all these gaps in between. When you have just a Facebook ad, but you're sending them to your website, there's so many things that are going wrong that the numbers I'm going to teach you aren't going to matter because you're having people click here. Of course they're not going to come in the door. They're getting distracted by all your fancy photos and your history and your bio about why you became a dentist or a veterinarian or an optometrist, right? They're getting too distracted by your normal website to actually walk in the door. Now, a lot of people go, wait, what are you talking about, right? I paid $10,000 for that website. I hate to break it to you, but websites are kind of dead. That doesn't mean I don't want you to have one, but what you have right now is called a brochure website. It's like a brochure. I mean, look, I make brochures all the time. This is what I do, right? This is a brochure I made for a Silkin event that we're having on shaping, treatment, acceptance to communication. This is the essence of sales, right? Good. This and your website serve the same function. It's just a little handy way for people to learn more about you, and it has a little contact information on the back. That's the purpose of your website. The brochure alone never sold anybody anything. If I were to mail 100 of these out, some people might write back, but they're not going to send me a check, right? I've never, ever sold someone something off a brochure alone. Now, me as a salesperson, also offering them a brochure where they can learn more in a visual way, that's helpful. But your website by itself is actually not designed to sell anything. Now, I know I'm using the 4-letter word sales, and doctors hate sales, right? So that's what the workshop's about. But the truth of the matter is that if we want to get serious about making return on investment from your Facebook or social media advertising, even from Google Ads, Google AdWords, same rules apply. We've got to do this system, right? With the landing page or a page on your website that looks like a landing page, and email, capturing their email so that we can do this, and also, you know, using retargeting. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox now. We're going to talk about marketing math. Are you ready? All right, so here's the truth. There's a couple of numbers you need to know in order to tell how well your Facebook ad or your social media ad or your Google ad is working. Because oftentimes people are like, wow, I'm getting clicks, 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 but I don't have people walking in the door. There's something missing, right? How do we figure that out? So let's do some math. First of all, you need to find your average transaction fee. Now, in my experience, most practice owners know this. If you don't, feel free to reach out to us. We will figure out how to show it to you, okay, from your practice management software usually. But your average transaction fee is important. Why? Because the average transaction fee for a dentist is going to be, you know, in the hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. The average transaction fee for a veterinarian, usually about $100, maybe a little more. So when an agency, a marketing agency comes to you and says, oh, I can make you a lot of money, I can make you a lot of money off of that ad, they might be basing their information off of a completely different type of practice than what you have. So your average transaction fee is going to mean the difference of how much you can afford to spend on advertising to be or to remain profitable. Okay, so that's a very important number. The next important number is your retention rate. Now, in my experience, most practice owners have no idea what their retention rate is. So I am offering you unlimited access to me for just this one thing. You can reach out to me and I will help you figure out how to calculate your retention rate. Now, what is retention rate? All it means is a patient walks in for the first time today, or a client for a veterinarian walks in for the first time today. How many more times are they likely to come back? Right? So if you have a really poor retention rate, you have people who come once and they never come back. Like, let's say you're a reconstructive dentist, right? How many times do I want my entire mouth reconstructed? Hopefully that's only going to be once. Hopefully, you know, I'm not going to get in an accident and lose all my teeth more than once in my lifetime, right? So your retention rate is probably really low if you're that kind of specialist, right? But conversely, your average transaction fee is probably quite high, right? Okay, so retention rate for a veterinarian, hopefully they're coming back every few months for, you know, 10, 20 years, right? Because they have one pet and then maybe that pet passes and they get another pet, and you know what I mean? Like, you've got loyalty going on, then that's going to mean that one new client for you is worth a lot more than the vet who's maybe not doing such a great job, and so people don't come back very often, right? So it's very important to know not only your average transaction fee, how much one new patient spends in one visit, and your retention rate. So that one new visit times how many times they're likely to come back, right? So we're going to multiply those two numbers together and we'll end up with the amount that one new patient is likely going to be worth to you financially, right? That's a very important number for us to know if we're going to then calculate how profitable your advertising is, right? But again, remember I just said retention rate. Most practice owners have no clue what their retention rate is, or they kind of sort of have like this vague idea that they see the same faces every once in a while, but not like a solid number. So those are very important solid numbers to nail down before you ever spend $1 on advertising, okay? Good, so let's say we've got those numbers. When we multiply them together, what we're going to get is called your customer lifetime value. Now, I said customer, but really I mean patient or client lifetime value, right? I mean, you don't have other kinds of customers unless you're selling dog food, or unless as a optometrist, you know, maybe you have people who come in just to buy glasses, but they got their prescription somewhere else. Fine. So that could be customers, right? So what I called it customer, but what I mean is patient, client, customer, person who pays you money, what the lifetime value is of that one person. We get that number, like I said, by multiplying the average transaction fee and the retention rate, okay? Those two numbers together give us our customer lifetime value. So that's what I was talking about on this page. If you saw this page, that's what that is, all right? Now, the next thing we need to do in order to really make sure that your ads are going to be super profitable is figure out what your target market is. Now, people often look at me strangely like, yeah, of course I know what my target market is. Of course, sir. I mean, come on, I'm not dumb. Well, you're not dumb. That's true. But some inexperienced marketeers have occasionally made the mistake of thinking something very broad is their target market. Like, oh, as a podiatrist, right, foot doctor, yeah, my target market is anyone who's in pain on their foot. Okay, well, that's a very broad target market. Let's break that down, because when you try to speak to everybody, you end up speaking to nobody. That's the truth, right? When I speak specifically to specific types of people, now it's like, oh, that message got to me. That hit me here where it matters, or that really got inside my head and made me think, right? That's what we need in order for an ad to be really profitable, to get lots of clicks. It has to make the person feel like you're speaking to them. So this is very, very important step. So just to give you an example, for a dentist, come back to dentistry again, right? For a dentist, what would be a great target market for them? Well, let's take a look. So, orthodontist, here's a good one, right? Orthodontist. Well, who needs orthodontistry? Well, now you might think, well, it's mostly teenagers. Okay, but teenagers are probably not your target market because they don't pay for their own orthodontistry. So it's actually parents of teenagers, right? Now it's also, but let's take a step back here, because now we've got entrepreneurship, we've got influencers on social media. If these people never had orthodontics before, they are a great target market for you. So, you know, ads along the lines of, hey, entrepreneur, pay attention to me. Would you like to have whiter teeth? Would you like to smile wider and look brighter and be happier on social media? That's another target market for you, right? What about mompreneurs? Moms, they're like, you know, stressing out, they feel ugly, they feel fat, they're like, oh, you know, and they're trying to like start their own little business. Hey, let's make you feel good, let's make you feel bright, let's make you feel like you're an entrepreneur, like you're a real boss lady, and that is another target market for you, right? So I really want you to break this down, and I even created a little spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, excuse me, a little worksheet for you here, how your target market feels, what they desire, how your services help them, and what you want them to be thinking about when they see your ad. That's all going to help you a lot in making your social media ads a lot more profitable. Okay, now let's get down to business. So, taking a look at this, right? What are the numbers that are industry standards for this kind of system? Well, your ad has these different analytics that you can track with it. One of them is your click-through rate. That simply means how many people actually clicked on it and landed where you wanted them to land, right? Click-through rate should be greater than 2%. That's the truth. If it's greater than 2%, you're doing all right. So even though you're showing it to 1,000 people and only 20 clicked, that's actually a good thing, right? A lot of practice owners think, oh, that's terrible, I'm going to shut it off. No, 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 don't shut it off. It's working. It's doing its job. Don't stop, okay? Now, the next thing you want to look at, though, is the cost per click, CPC, cost per click. That's how much you're spending to get one click. It's been creeping up as the years go by, but I'm still shooting for about $1. If you can get $1 per click, you're doing good, okay? That's industry standard for Facebook or really any social media ad. You can even apply this, like I said, to Google ads. You know, you want to keep that cost per click as low as possible. In Google ads, sometimes it's not possible to do $1, but you know, let's not let it get like $5 or $6 per click. That's a lot of money. So let's try to keep that cost per click low. And the same thing, click-through rate, 2% or more. Okay, if it's not, then you need to change something about your ad. The image, that's the first thing I would change. If you're getting a low cost, if you're getting a low click-through rate, I would change the image first. If that doesn't work, I would change the header, you know, what you said at the bottom there. And then if that doesn't work, I would figure out what's wrong with the copy or what's wrong with what you're offering. You're not offering something people want if you're getting low clicks, okay? Good, so now where you're sending them also has to be productive. Now, when it's productive, we call that conversion. Conversion simply means that the person who landed on your website or your landing page did the thing you wanted them to do. Now, this is something that sometimes people miss. You have to want them to do something. You have to make it obvious on the landing page, on the website, what you want them to do, right? So book now, click here, book appointment, here for an appointment. The buttons like this are very important to kind of splatter strategically, not everywhere, but strategically throughout this landing page, so that there are opportunities for the person to take action, right? So let's say they take the action you want them to take. That's called conversion. A good conversion rate depends on one of two things. If you're offering something that's free, like a coupon, a downloadable ebook for more information, you know, a tour, what's it called? A trunk show, that kind of thing. Free offers, we want them to convert at about 20%, okay? For paid offers, it's a lot less. It's about 3% is good. Now, there's a rule about conversion for paid offers. So this is where, you know, you're offering something in your ad that they have to pay for on your website. 3% is good, but if it's more than 1%, probably just means you need to tweak it. Okay, that means you're offering the right thing. It's just not being offered in a beautiful enough a way, or your copywriting, it needs a little work or something like that. If your conversion rate is less than 1%, you're offering the wrong thing. You're offering something people don't want, and you need to change that offer. This is where marketing surveys, marketing research becomes very, very important. So more than 3%, you're doing good. 1 to 2 to 3, you need to tweak something. You need to improve the image or the copywriting. If it's less than 1%, you got less than 1% buying whatever you're offering in your ad. They clicked because they were interested, but they didn't buy at all. That means you're just offering the wrong thing. You need to change up what you're offering, okay? Good, and then that means people walking in the door. But now let's take a look at this. So only 2% of the people you show the ad to will actually click on it. Only 20% of the people you showed the ad to, or I'm sorry, only 20% of the people who clicked will actually take you up on the offer and come in the door. So what do we do about those other 80% of people? Well, probably it was just not the right time for them. There are always going to be a certain percentage of people who just clicked because they were interested and they're, you know, just never going to walk in the door. And that's fine. We have to be willing for that to happen in marketing, right? But there's a certain percentage of people who are not the 20% who can do it now, but they would if you continue to offer it to them. That's where email comes in, okay? And email becomes a very important subject at that point, because we want to capture the identities of those people and remind them gently who we are, show your face, show your personality in these emails, and offer them the thing that you were already offering them before, so that they finally get the opportunity to take up, okay? Good, so that's all I've got for you guys today on the tracking of social media, the tracking of advertising. I hope this was very helpful for you. And if you want, you can sign up for a free marketing analysis with me. Go ahead and click below or click to the side, depending on where you're looking at this. If you're on your phone, it's going to be somewhere else. But I'll have the link down below in the comments, okay? Again, my name is Sarah Nadler. I am the marketing consultant here at Silkin Management Group, and it was great talking to you all. Have a good day. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so have a good time, okay? Bye.